lingers tonight, not stuck, not delayed, just unconcerned. It stretches itself across the room, settling into corners, resting where it lands. Light stays low, holding everything together gently, and the air feels less demanding, less interested in outcome. Seconds arrive without urgency, then dissolve quietly into the background. Snow layers the street outside, turning distance into suggestion. The piano enters with restraint, each chord placed carefully, as if it respects the silence around it. It doesn't rush resolution, it doesn't search for a conclusion. The bass moves underneath everything, steady and reassuring, a sound you trust because it never raises its voice. Brushes soften the rhythm, rounding the edges of time, until motion feels human again. As time lingers, my thoughts stop reaching outward. They arrive incomplete, then drift away uncorrected. I don't organize them, I don't assign them meaning. The room accepts them as they are. Smoke rises once there are pauses and fades. Nothing changes, nothing breaks. The piano leans into a chord that doesn't resolve, doesn't point ahead. It stays just long enough to be felt, then releases. Outside the city loosens, sirens spinning, lights dimming inside. The night remains whole. Time lingers until morning presses gently against the window, bringing structure back into view. I stand quietly, carrying that patience with me, the understanding that some moments matter, not because they transform you, but because they allow you to remain unhazed, unfinished, and present. Quiet holds the room together tonight, not silence exactly, but something warmer, something patient. Light rests low, never demanding attention, never disappearing completely. The air feels settled, as if it has learned how to stay still without feeling empty. Time moves gently, each second arriving, then stepping aside, no longer concerned with order. The clock continues politely, but its authority has softened. Snow gathers beyond the glass, covering the street in careful layers, erasing sharp edges and expectations. The piano speaks slowly, each chord placed where silence won't feel crowded. Nothing insists on rhetorician, nothing rushes toward meaning. The bass anchors everything below, steady and calm, a quiet promise that nothing is about to fall apart. Brushes skim lightly, keeping the pulse alive, without asking to be heard. Quiet holds my thoughts in place, they stop competing, they stop asking to be finished. They arrive one by one, sit beside me and leave when they're ready. I don't chase them, I don't give them direction. The night accepts them without comment. Smoke curls upward, loses its shape and disappears. Nothing reacts, nothing needs to. The piano circles back, not to repeat but to listen. Outside, the city lowers its voice. Background hum. Inside, the room feels generous, wide enough to breathe deeply, wide enough to stay. Quiet holds until morning begins to sharpen the edges again. I rise slowly, carrying that steadiness with me. The understanding that some moments matter because they support you, not because they move you forward. is how the night behaves, as if it's decided there's no reason to leave yet. Nothing here checks the time, nothing prepares an excuse. The light lowers itself naturally, finding a balance between shadow and warmth, and the room exhales, relieved to stop pretending it has somewhere to be. Time loosens its collar, seconds arriving without ambition, then quietly stepping aside. Snow drifts outside the window, layer after careful layer, softening the street until direction feels optional. The piano enters slowly, as if it's been listening longer than I have, placing each chord with patience. It doesn't argue with silence, it sits beside it. Every note leaves space behind, as though it understands how easily a moment can be crowded. The bass walks underneath everything, steady and dependable, a sound that holds the floor in place without asking to be noticed. Brushes move lightly, sweeping the edges of rhythm until urgency fades into memory. Stays late, and my thoughts follow its example. They stop rushing toward conclusions, they arrive unfinished, sit quietly and wait. I don't organize them, I don't correct them. The night doesn't demand clarity. Smoke rises slowly, hesitates and disappears without explanation. The room remains unchanged, and that feels intentional. The piano returns again, not repeating, just checking the balance, as if making sure nothing has tipped too far. Outside, the city loosens its grip, sirens thinning in a distance, lights blinking without urgency. Inside, the night feels complete, not because anything has ended, but because nothing is asking to. that lingering is enough. Time waits tonight, not pause, not delay, just unhurried. It sets its weight down gently, as if it understands. Nothing is chasing it, the room adjusts around that idea. Air softening, light resting where it lands. Seconds arrive without urgency, then fade into the background. Snow layers the street outside, softening memory into suggestion. The piano enters with restraint, each chord arriving as if it respects the silence around it. It doesn't demand attention, it earns it slowly. The bass moves underneath everything, steady and dependable, a quiet reassurance that nothing is about to give way. Brushes move carefully, rounding the shape of a ribbon until motion feels human again. As time waits, my thoughts stop reaching outward. They arrive incomplete, then drift away uncorrected. I don't organize them, I don't assign them meaning. The night accepts them as they are. Smoke rises, pours, and disappears. The air remains unchanged. The piano leans into a chord that doesn't resolve, doesn't point ahead. It stays just long enough to be felt, then releases outside the city, loosens. Sirens thinning, lights dinning. Inside the room remains whole. Time waits until morning presses gently against the window, bringing structure back into the world. I stand poetly, carrying that patience with me, the understanding that some moments matter, not because they move you forward, but because they allow you to stop moving at all. Low hours arrive without ceremony, slipping into the room after the world stops asking questions. Light lowers itself naturally, finding places where it can rest. Time moves differently now, less linear, more forgiving. The clock keeps ticking, but it feels decorative, a habit rather rather than a command. Snow gathers beyond the glass, turning distance into suggestion. The piano begins carefully, each chord placed where silence won't feel crowded. Nothing rushes forward, nothing insists on resolution. The bass anchors the room below, steady and calm, a sound that holds everything together without explanation. Brushes skim gently, keeping the pulse alive without demanding attention. In these low hours, my thoughts lose their competitiveness. They no longer race to be understood. Finished and leave the same way. I stop measuring myself against anything. Past, future, expectation. The moment doesn't ask to be improved. Smoke curls upward, loses its shape and disappears. Nothing needs to. The piano circles back, not repeating, just checking the temperature of the room. Outside, the city lowers its voice, movement dissolving into background hum. Inside, the night feels generous, wide enough to breathe deeply, wide enough to stay. Low hours follow me when morning sharpens the edges again. I rise calmly, carrying the quiet forward. The understanding that life doesn't always speak clearly when it's loud, but often does when it barely speaks at all. Still here is how the night introduces itself, not with words, but with patience. Nothing announces arrival, nothing rushes departure. The room accepts the hour quietly, light settling where it feels welcome, shadows stretching without intention. Time loosens its posture, seconds no longer standing at attention, each one arriving then stepping aside without complaint. Snow drifts outside the window, layer after careful layer, softening the street until direction feels optional. The piano enters as if it's been waiting, placing each chord gently, never interrupting the air around it. It speaks in long, calm sentences, allowing silence to finish the thought. The bass walks beneath everything, steady and real. brushes move lightly, sweeping the edges of reminiscent. Agency becomes memory. Still here, my thoughts stop demanding completion. They arrive unfinished, sit beside me and rest. I don't push them toward meaning, I don't send them away. Smoke rises slowly, hesitates and disappears without leaving instructions. The room remains unchanged, and somehow that feels like permission. I think of nights spent mistaking motion for purpose, believing stillness meant failure. Here, nothing moves fast enough to create confusion. The piano returns again, not repeating, just listening to itself, checking whether balance still exists. Outside, the city exhales, sirens thinning, lights blinking without urgency. Still here lasts longer than expected, until morning presses gently at the glass, bringing sharper edges back into view. I stand quietly, carrying the calm with me, the understanding that some hours exist not to prepare you, but to remind you that many minutes is enough. Held open is how the night feels, as if it's resisting closure. Nothing tightens, nothing concludes. The air remains spacious, inviting patience. Light rests low, not hiding, not revealing, just present. Time moves carefully, each moment allowed to settle before the next arrives. The clock keeps ticking, but it sounds distant now, more suggestion than rule. Snow layers the street outside, softening direction into possibility. The piano enters gently, each chord placed with restraint, as if it respects the silence around it. It doesn't resolve too quickly, it doesn't reach too far. The bass anchors everything below, steady and dependable, a sound that reassures without explanation. Brushes move lightly, smoothing the rhythm, until urgency fades completely. Thoughts stop asking for answers. They arrive incomplete, then drift away uncorrected. I don't chase them, I don't frame them. The night accepts them as they are. Smoke rises, pauses, and disappears. Nothing reacts, nothing breaks. The piano leans into a chord that doesn't point forward. It stays just long enough to be felt, then releases. Outside, the city loosens, sirens thinning, lights dimming. Inside, the room remains intact. Held open lasts until morning, presses gently against the window, bringing shade back into the world. I stand quietly, carrying that openness with me. The understanding that some moments matter, not because they change you, but because they allow you to remain unhurried, unfinished, and whole. Late enough is when the night changes character, when it stops explaining itself and starts simply existing. The room settles into a slower shape, corners softening, air loosening its grip. Time feels rounded now, less exact, less demanding. The clock continues out of habit, but its voice has lost authority. Snow rests against the street outside, turning distance into suggestion. The piano begins without ceremony, each chord placed where silence won't feel crowded. Nothing rushes, nothing insists. The bass walks patiently beneath, steady and calm, a quiet promise that nothing is about to fall apart. Brushes skim gently, keeping the pulse alive without asking for attention. Late enough, my thoughts stop competing. They no longer race for conclusions. They arrive one by one, sit beside me, and leave when they're ready. I stop measuring where I should be, stop comparing motion to the meaning. The its voice. Traffic dissolving into background hum. Inside the night feels complete, not because anything has ended, but because nothing is unfinished. Stay late enough follows me when morning finally sharpens the edges again. I rise slowly, carrying the calm with me, the understanding that life doesn't always speak loudest when it's moving fast. Quiet keeps the room together tonight. Not silence exactly, but something softer, something that knows how to wait. The light lowers itself without instruction, finding a place where shadows feel honest. Time moves gently here, each second arriving without ambition, then stepping aside as if it understands this hour doesn't want direction. Snow gathers beyond the window, layer after careful layer, covering the street until memory loosens its grip. Nothing sparkles, yelp and performs. The piano enters slowly, placing each chord with patience, never interrupting the air around it. It doesn't argue with silence, it sits beside it. The bass moves underneath everything, steady and unremarkable. A sound that holds the floor in place without ever asking to be noticed. Brushes sweep lightly, rounding the edges of rhythm, turning motion into reassurance. Quiet keeps my thoughts from rushing. They arrive unfinished, sit for a while, then drift away unchanged. I don't organize them, I don't correct them. The night doesn't ask for clarity. Smoke rises once, hesitates and disappears. The room remains exactly the same, and that feels right. The piano returns again, not repeating, just listening to itself, checking whether balance still exists. quiet enough to remain. Quiet keeps until morning presses gently against the glass, bringing edges back into focus. I stand calmly carrying the stillness with me, the understanding that some moments matter because they hold you together, not because they move you forward. Still warm is how the night feels, as if it hasn't decided to leave yet. The air holds onto the room gently, not clinging, just present. Light rests where it lands, and time feels rounded, less exact. The clock ticks softly, each second arriving without pressure, then stepping aside. Snow settles beyond the window, quiet and unbothered, covering the street without commentary. The piano enters slowly, as if it's been listening first, placing each chord with intention. Nothing resolves too quickly, nothing reaches too far. The bass walks patiently beneath, steady and reassuring, a sound that says things can hold together quietly. Brushes move carefully, keeping the rhythm alive without demanding attention. Still warm, my thoughts stop asking to be finished. They arrive incomplete, then drift away uncorrected. I don't fix them, I don't frame them. The night accepts them as they are. Smoke rises, pauses, and fades. Nothing breaks, nothing changes. doesn't resolve, doesn't point ahead. It stays just long enough to be felt, then releases outside. The city loosens its grip, sirens thinning, lights dimming inside. The room remains intact, still lasts until morning presses gently against the glass, bringing contrast back into focus. I stand quietly, carrying that warmth forward, the understanding that some moments matter, not because they transform you, but because they allow you to stay human, unhurried and whole. Low light fills the room without instruction. It doesn't ask where to fall, it simply arrives. Shadows soften, corners relax, and the air feels less demanding. Time moves gently here, each moment allowed to settle before the next appears. The clock continues politely, but its authority has faded. More habit than command. Snow gathers patiently outside, layer after careful layer, until the street forgets its sharpness. The piano speaks in low tones, each chord placed when silence won't feel crowded. Nothing rushes, nothing insists. The bass anchors everything below, steady and calm, a presence you trust, because it never raises its voice. Brushes skim lightly, rounding the edges of rhythm, keeping the night intact. In this slow light, my thoughts lose their urgency. They no longer compete for attention. They arrive, sit beside me, and leave when they're ready. I stop measuring distance, how far I've come, how far I should go. The moment doesn't ask for progress. Smoke curls upward, loses its shape and disappears. The room stays whole. The piano circles back, not insisting, just listening to itself. Outside, the city lowers its voice, movement dissolving into background hum. Inside, the night remains gentle inside. to stay. Low light follows me when morning sharpens the edges again. I rise slowly, carrying the softness with me, the understanding that not every hour is meant to move you forward. Some are meant to let you rest exactly where you are. After midnight, the room forgets its purpose. Nothing here is trying to impress. Nothing is trying to become more than it is. The light lowers itself naturally, as if it understands. This hour prefers honesty over clarity. Time loosens its grip, seconds arriving without urgency, then drifting aside to make room for the next. Snow rests quietly beyond the glass, softening the distance between places. The street looks unfinished now, edges blurred, directions optional. The piano enters without announcement, each chord placed carefully, never interrupting the silence, never attempting to conquer it. It speaks slowly, thoughts, leaving space for reflection to breathe. The bass moves underneath, steady and patient, a quiet agreement that the ground will not shift tonight. Brushes sweep gently, turning movement into something forgiving. After midnight, my thoughts stop performing. They arrive without explanation, unfinished, and I let them remain that way. I don't correct them, I don't give them assignments. Smoke rises once, hesitates, and fades into the air. Nothing reacts, nothing needs to. The room accepts the moment as it is. I remember nights spent trying to outrun myself, believing speed meant progress. Here nothing moves fast enough to be mistaken for escape. The piano returns, numb and complete, just checking the balance, confirming the room is still listening. Outside, the city exhales, sirens thinning into memory, lights blinking without urgency. After midnight, even waiting feels fleece. When morning finally presses against the edge of the window, bringing shape back into the world, I stand calmly, carrying this quiet forward, the understanding that some hours it's just only to remind you how still you're allowed to be. Open tonight, not closing and not narrowing its options. Moments arrive with space around them. Allow it to settle before the next one appears. The night feels wider than usual, as if it has learned how to hold things without gripping too tightly. The light remains low, holding the room together, and the air feels softer, less demanding. The clock keeps moving, but it sounds distant now, more suggestion than room. The street outside, turning direction into possibility. The piano begins carefully, each chord arriving as if it respects the silence around it. It doesn't ask to be heard, it waits. The bass moves underneath everything, steady, sound you trust, because it never raises its voice. Brushes soften the rhythm, turning time into something human. As time stays open, my thoughts stop trying to finish themselves. They arrive incomplete, then drift away uncorrected. I don't give them purpose. The night accepts them as they are. Smoke rises once more, pauses and fades. The room rings intact. The piano leans into a chord that doesn't resolve, doesn't point forward. It stays just long enough to be felt, then releases outside. The city loosens, sirens thinning, lights dimming. Inside, the night stays whole. Time stays open until morning presses gently against the window, bringing clarity back into the world. I stand quietly, carrying that openness with me, the understanding that some moments matter, not because they change you, but because they leave space for you to remain exactly as you Still present is how the room feels, as if nothing has left, as if nothing is missing. The night holds its shape carefully, not tightening, not loosening too far, just enough to stay balanced. Time moves softly here, each second arriving without pushing the next. The clock continues out of habit, but its authority feels optional now. Snow gathers outside without sound, turning distance into suggestion. The piano speaks in unhurried phrases, each chord placed where silence won't feel crowded. It doesn't try to conclude anything, it simply stays. The bass anchors the room below, steady and calm. A quiet promise that nothing is about to fall apart. Brushes skin lightly, keeping the rhythm smooth, forgiving. In this still presence, my thoughts stop reaching outward. They arrive slowly, sit beside me and leave when they're ready. I don't correct them, I don't chase them. The moment doesn't ask to be improved. Smoke curls upward, thins and disappears. Nothing changes, nothing needs to. The piano circles back, not insisting, just listening to itself outside. The city lowers its voice, movement dissolving into memory. Inside, the night remains generous, wide enough to breathe deeply, wide enough to stay. Still present follows me when morning finally sharpens the edges again. I rise calmly, carrying that steadiness with me. The understanding that some moments don't move you forward, they simply allow you to exist without resistance. continues without checking itself, without wondering how long it's been here, without caring what waits on the other side. It stretches gently across the room, settling into corners, loosening the air until even time feels less certain. The light stays low, not hiding anything, not revealing too much, just enough to let everything remain honest. The clock keeps ticking, but it sounds far away now, more like a memory than an instruction. Snow rests against the street outside, layer after careful layer, softening everything it touches. The piano enters slowly, as if it's been listening first, placing each chord where silence can support it. Nothing insists, nothing rushes. Each sound arrives, rests, and leaves room behind. The bass moves underneath it all, steady and unremarkable, the kind of presence that doesn't need attention to be felt. Brushes sweep gently, rounding the edges of time, turning urgency into something distant. Night continues, and I stop asking it to explain itself. Thoughts arrive slowly, unfinished, and I let them stay that way. I don't organize them, I don't ask them to lead anywhere. Smoke rises, pauses, and disappears without apology. The room doesn't react, it doesn't need to. The piano returns again, not repeating, just checking the balance, as if making sure nothing has shifted too far. Outside, the city loosens its grip, sirens thinning into distance, lights blinking without intention. Inside, the night feels complete, not because everything is resolved, but because nothing is demanding resolution. Night continues until morning presses gently against the glass, bringing shape back into the world. I stand quietly, carrying the calm with me, the understanding that some hours exist simply to go on without needing to become anything. anything.